Hey fam, it's brother Bin here, your boy who crawled out of the mountain valleys in Hubei, a total country bumpkin with zero fancy background. Someone once asked me for the secret to success. I pointed to the cemetery where I used to sleep and said, only those who can swallow their tears have the right to laugh till the end. This ain't no cheesy motivational quote. It is a truth. I got smacked into me by life itself. Back in '93, I snuck out of the tax bureau with just 20 yuan in my pocket, my monthly salary back then, standing on the Luohu Bridge. My legs were shaking like leaves. Being a civil servant in a small county paid just enough to buy 2 jin of pork a month. The tax bureau's iron gates were polished shiny, but I knew deep down, this ain't where I belonged. A farmer's son was born to fight storms, not sit in an office, no border pass. I ran along the railway tracks. The grass scratched my face raw, but my heart was burning bright. The air in this special economic zone smelled like something I'd never known. Money. I pushed carts at a construction site, where the foreman stole 6 yuan from my 8 yuan daily wage. He mocked me, skinny arms can T-lift bricks. I squeezed the remaining coins and shot back. These arms can carry the entire Shenzhen. Truth is, I was just grateful to eat. I walked from the railway to the site without sleeping for 3 days. Seeing that job ad felt like finding a lifeline. The dorm was infested with lice, but lying there listening to distant machine roars. That was Shenzhen's heartbeat, and it kept me going. My lowest point, sleeping in a cemetery. I chewed on offerings left by graves while staring at the dark sky. On Chinese New Year's Eve, firecrackers sent ash flying from tombstone papers, wrapped in a tattered cotton, padded jacket, I thought. If I die, I can even afford a tombstone. Better fight for a way out while I am alive. That fight led me to delivering goods on Bar Street. I pushed my cart like a man possessed, selling small bottles of beer at crazy prices. Pockets stuffed with Hong Kong dollars. I thought I'd made it, living it up every night, partying like there's no tomorrow. 6 months later, poof, all the money was gone, like water through a sieve. Creditors banged on my door. My daughter cried from hunger, and I squatted in the corner slapping myself. You arrogant fool. Just when I was flat broke, I saved an old Japanese guy. Total accident. He was beaten half to death, and I carried him to the hospital, almost losing a shoe in the process. Turned out he was the president of a Japanese corporation in Shenzhen to scout investments when local thugs targeted him. I didn't care about international fate. I just hated seeing people get bullied. 6 months later, he tracked me down all over Shenzhen with a pager begging to repay me. I refused money. I asked for a job. That one request launched my foreign trade career. 5,000 workers at my Kunshan factory worked around the clock, shipping containers of Chinese made goods worldwide, standing in the workshop eating steamed buns. I thought, the guy who slept in a cemetery is now making products used across the globe. Later, I learned life is like screwing bolts. Mess up the position, and you gotta start over. When 5 million digital camera casings had to be recalled, I drank coffee like water, stressed out of my mind. 500 workers in Vietnam unscrewed bolts till their fingers bled, squatting by the assembly line, I vowed. Quality is a company's backbone. Break it, and you'll never stand again. From then on, whenever I meet factory owners, I always check their workshops first. People say, I am crazy, starting a US cross-border e-commerce business. When I'm almost retired, what they don't know is I didn't learn to type till I was 40. Back then, I spent hours on the phone with my teacher from Shenyang, racking up insane hotel bills. Every key I typed wasn't just a letter. It was my stubborn refusal to give up. Young people these days complain about pressure. I laugh. They haven't seen real hardship. Once I had just 1.5 yuan left and still bought 3 servings of fried rice noodles. Remember, everyone who survives in Shenzhen is someone who swallows tears and puts on a smile. Don't look down on food delivery riders, and don't worship guys in suits. The ones who turn life into poetry aren't defined by their title. They redefined by their grit. In 2025, US tariff policies went haywire. People told me, quit while you ahead. Your old business is enough to retire on. I grabbed my passport and flew to Vietnam that night, negotiating with local bosses in Ho Chi Minh City's factories. I felt just like the bricklayer I used to be in Kunshan. Now, we're rebuilding supply chains across 5 Southeast Asian countries, with a branch in Vietnam since 2024. I refused to believe it. If I could chew my way out of a cemetery back then, I can chisel a path through tariff barriers today. To all my brothers and sisters out there, life's gonna punch you in the face. But remember, swallow those tears, stand tall, and keep fighting. The last laugh, it belongs to the ones who never back down. Let's grind, let's hustle, and let us make our dreams happen. Together,